So although I've made my 2 videos this week, I'm going to give you a quick bonus one and tell you what I think about Cenk Uyger running for Congress. Now, he is running for Katie Hill's old seat, and that scandal is fairly recent, and it's California's 25th district, and people are saying it's a purple state because it swings between red and blue. It swings between Republican and Democrat, so there's a bit of a mixture in terms of the electorate. He's not going for an easy Democratic seat. And I think this has been coming a long time for Cenk, and people have been speculating about him running for Congress for a while, and I think people have been speculating about Anna running for Congress as well. I think they both be great, but I want to get into why I think Cenk will be really, really good. Now, I think I will start with my concerns and get them all out the way because I have a lot of nice things to say about him. But generally, I think a lot of the problems people may have on the left with Cenk is that he's not anti-capitalist. And they had that thing on the Young Turks with Hassan debating Cenk about capitalism and everything, and I think Cenk's sort of perspective, and I think Anna's perspective on this, and their view of America is informed by their families being from different countries. So Cenk said yesterday when he was talking about announcing his run for Congress, saying that his dad came over to America, $1 in his pocket, the only person he knew was his brother, and he built himself up and he lived the American dream essentially. I think Anna has shared a similar sentiment, and I think this sort of backstory has really warped their view a bit. Not necessarily they have to be anti-capitalist to be good Congress people, but at the same time I think they are a bit naive and they love America in a way that I think sometimes leads to them ignoring big issues, and they kind of see the best in America in a lot of instances. Maybe I'm just too cynical and my view of America is really harsh and I don't have many positive things to say about it. Not to say there aren't many great people there, and especially, most of my subscribers are from America and most of the TYT audience from America, and they're all, lots of nice people and lots of great people who just want to live in the same way other countries which have better systems live. So, for example, in the UK, I don't think we're that much better than the US, but we have the NHS. Our politics aren't as insane, even though at the moment they're pretty awful. But then you have like Scandinavian countries who have a way better system, in my opinion. Also, Cenk addressed his old scandals, denying the Armenian genocide and the stuff he'd written about women when he was young, and he used to be a Republican when he was a young man, about my age, maybe a bit younger. So he addressed all that in the show, and he addressed it to Anna, who asked him. And then, to get the other concerns out of the way, Cenk says he's no longer going to have editorial control over the Young Turks. He's going to still do it, but he's not going to choose the stories, and he's not going to really comment on his own race. And he says he can, but he just doesn't want to do that because he wants to be transparent. So I think this is really setting it up so Anna is going to take over the Young Turks. I don't know if he can still be I think he's the CEO of the Young Turks when he's a congressman. I'm not sure how that works, but it's clear Anna has been groomed for a while to be the new face of TYT, which, she's been doing a great job for years, and I really respect the work she does, so I'm happy about that, worthy successor to Cenk. Now, in terms of him being a good congressman, he went on, his show yesterday, and he said all these things he would support. He'd support the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, and, if you watch the Young Turks, you know what Cenk is about, you know what he's going to fight for. So it's pretty, transparent. He's going to be, really in the same mould as Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think he won't be as far left as Bernie Sanders, because I think if you watch Bernie Sanders when he's a lot younger, some of the stuff he says he wouldn't say now, because I think he realises now he's in this position where he can get power. He can't be as sympathetic to socialism as he would once be, and he can't talk up socialism as much as he once would. He says democratic socialism rather than actual socialism. But I think Cenk is going to be a great congressman and fighting for working people, and he is a really, I guess, in terms of his debating skills, he's very authoritative, and I'm going to enjoy watching him if he's on certain committees grill people they bring up to Congress. So remember everyone when AOC was grilling Mark Zuckerberg, and the way she grills a lot of people, it's so great, because she's just willing to say things that most people aren't. She's willing to get them really hard. And imagine Cenk doing that as well. Imagine the whole squad and Cenk. I don't really see Presley as part of the squad because she endorsed Elizabeth Warren for one thing, but think of Ilhan Omar, Tlaib and AOC and Cenk all in Congress grilling these people. It's just a wonderful thing to see. And, I think he will really be great at taking the fight to the Republicans, because that's what Cenk is at the end of the day. He is a fighter and he will fight for people, And I think he's setting out to prove himself by taking a hard district, because I'm sure there have been opportunities in the past, or he could wait for a more democratic leaning district to open up so he can have a more easy run in. But he's choosing something hard. He's choosing to prove, his theories of the last couple of years, saying it doesn't matter which way the way they vote in the past. Progressive policies are the best, so I'm going to get them to vote for progressive policies. And of course, with Karl Kalinske, Cenk founded Justice Democrats, and without Justice Democrats, we wouldn't have people like AOC. And I think he has to get enormous credit for shaping a lot of the political landscape on the American left, because he also boosted Bernie Sanders way before anyone else was doing it. There's an argument to be made that maybe Bernie Sanders wouldn't be as prominent if the Young Turks didn't, take up his fight. And there's obviously a massive argument to be made. We wouldn't have people like AOC and Justice Democrats if he didn't start it with Karl Kalinske. So while you might have your problems with Cenk and think that he's not an anti-capitalist, he's not far left enough, in terms of the Congress at the moment, you need people like him. And because he's so passionate about these issues, he speaks very well, he knows his stuff. I think he's going to be a really effective congressman. And you need people who will fight. You don't need the weak Democrats that have been in control of the party for years now. You need to get people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, everyone who rolls over for Republicans every time. You need to get them out of office, replace them with people like AOC, Omar, and now people like Cenk. And it's refreshing for all these people to finally have a chance. And do I think he will win? It's hard to say, really. He has momentum, he has the name recognition. TYT has a big reach, and he's been posting the stats about already he had 100k donations, and I think it was like 5,000 people did it in 24 hours, and he's got thousands of volunteers already. So he's already got a strong support base. And don't underestimate the online community. I know mainstream politicians might say, oh, he's just an online persona, most people don't know about him, but don't underestimate that. He has a nice little boost going into this, and I think he can convince people about his policies and convince them to vote for a progressive Democrat rather than a corporate Democrat. And we'll see how things go. Katie Hill endorsed another Democrat who is running for this seat, which is fair enough. She can do what she wants, but Cenk is obviously going to be the best option. And as someone who's doing YouTube now, it is refreshing to see someone go from YouTube to Congress but actually be taken seriously, because he is a principled guy, not like someone like Joey Salads running for Congress in New York, who's just an insane troll just running for attention. So it's good that someone can transition over. I know the National also, I think he ran for a seat in Canada for the Green Party. So I like seeing all this stuff. And as someone, people tell me, why don't you run for an MP one day? And when I see people like AOC, Cenk, and everyone, even though Cenk is so much more famous than me and he's so much more prominent, it does give me hope, that just being engaged with the community online and putting your voice out there can lead to things and can make you comfortable in this sort of environment. If I'm thinking about myself right now, YouTube has made me way more confident in speaking, way more confident in interviewing people or being interviewed, way more confident in my views, debating people in the comments and everything like that. So it's good experience for the world of maybe politics. And I think Cenk is, like he said in his shows, like they're not ready for him because he is so aggressive, and that's going to be refreshing to see. And you might have by 2020 this whole big wing of the Democratic Party in Congress who are all progressives. I think at the moment he said there's 7 of them. So with Cenk there'd be 8, and I'm sure there's a lot more people running. So it would be great to see all that in America, because in a lot of ways you're so behind other countries. And like Bernie Sanders always says, most of the developed countries in the world have universal healthcare. Even a lot of undeveloped countries have it. So why can't we have it in the richest country of all time? And I think that's the sort of arguments that Cenk will bring. Of course, he'll be smeared a lot, but I think, the way he addressed the criticisms on the show yesterday really showed me, it's not going to stick, really. If you say deny the Armenian genocide, well, most of the US politicians also denied the Armenian genocide until, last month when they passed a bill recognising it, only because they've fallen out with Turkey. So Cenk denying it 10, 15, 20 years ago, it's not even a big deal. And, the stuff he wrote about women is problematic, but what's he, nearly a 50-year-old man now? He wrote that when he was in his 20s. So it's all forgivable. And people, we like in Western society, we rehabilitate some of the worst people. If you come out of a cult, if you come out of a far-right organisation, and you change your mind, you're respectable. But if you said some kind of controversial things and you're a young person, that's unforgivable apparently. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Cenk running for Congress. I've seen a lot of positive response from general people on the left and everyone I follow on my Twitter account. So yeah, let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it. Maybe subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me at McCavanackle on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at u/TommyCahill1995 on Reddit. Also, maybe check out my Patreon in the description, and thanks to all my patrons as usual. Maybe check out my WordPress blog as well. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.